Hello guys, how you doing? It's the Car Crazy Guy here, and today I'm going to be reviewing some transportation here. No, it's not the bicycle. It's actually this 2017 Ford Focus sedan, and this is the SE model I'm reviewing here. This particular one is the EcoBoost. It's a 3-cylinder, 1-liter turbocharged engine. The power numbers are below that of the 2-liter. However, the interesting thing about this particular car is it is automatic, and the transmission is not the power shift transmission that's been giving and plaguing many owners for a long time, including a friend of mine who has a Fiesta 2014, but he's got a lot of miles on it. He's got about 217,000 miles on this thing, and he needs another transmission. It's holding up okay, but it's starting to act up. So it was replaced under warranty around 60,000 miles, and here it is now at 217, and it really could use another one, but it'll work a little bit longer if he drives it easily. Now, the transmission in this vehicle, although it is an automatic, is a 6-speed automatic, but is not the power shift transmission that my friend is having trouble with and many other Focus and Fiesta owners. This actually is a brand new transmission, and this is a conventional torque converter, so you don't have any of the jerkiness at low speeds, the clicking and the popping. And I'll also include a picture of the sticker, and if you look at the very top, I think it's called the 6F15. It's a new transmission, only available with the 3-cylinder EcoBoost. You cannot get it, it's not available in any other car that I've seen. As a matter of fact, if you buy any 2-liter Focus, you're stuck with that power shift transmission and you have no way out of it. The only way is to get a manual that's in the 3-cylinder or this automatic in the 3-cylinder, but you're not going to find a manual in any Focus, even the S model. It's all automatic. I couldn't, even if you go to their configurator and try to build it, that's what you end up with. So this particular car here is magnetic metallic, and I've seen this on somebody's Mustang. It looks pretty cool. The options this one have is the SE EcoBoost appearance package, and some of the things in my memory are the fog lights. It has comes with 16-inch wheels that are upgraded from the standard wheels. It has LED daytime running lamps, as they call those, and I'll show you what they look like. You can see it lights up. You got a little LED strip right here, although the headlamps are halogens. You know, you can see the flicker. I know it's not in real life, it doesn't, but you get those. And in addition, you get rear disc brakes, which you don't get on the regular car, on the SE version. I guess you have to get a step up to trim level. And this particular one has the 17-inch wheels. This is an upgrade, $495. The EcoBoost appearance package, I believe, is $895, and the automatic, I think, is $1,095. So the price of this car, MSRP wise, is $21,535, and in its own right, it's not a bad deal. The only thing it needs, really, in my opinion, because normally if I were to buy this car, I definitely would like to see a touchscreen. Instead, it has a small 4.2-inch LCD, and my understanding is at some point a company is developing a conversion kit, but I think you're looking at, with nav, probably between $200 and $2,500, so it's kind of expensive. If you go up to the SEL version, you do get that, and the nav is $795. The only downside with the SEL is it's not available with the 3-cylinder. It's only available with the 2-liter normally aspirated motor, and if you really want a manual transmission, you're gonna have to get either the ST or the RS. So this is kind of like your, I don't know, I guess you could say it's a, you know, you kind of take some and give some. It's a compromise here. So all in all, it's not a bad compromise. The motor, boy, when you open the hood, it's tiny. It's really small. The car itself looks like your standard Focus. You have, these are all hard touch. I could have sworn the electric car I had, this was soft. Maybe it is. Maybe this trim level just doesn't give you that. And this here, it's a fabric, although I thought it was hard plastic, but I guess I was wrong. And you have the kind of your coarse fabrics here. Sounds like sandpaper. Your gauges, You do have the LCD in the center, and then of course you have this little guy over here, and it is an automatic. The back, these are hard touch plastics down here. Same thing up here too. And it does have, of course, naturally electric windows and door locks, and the same scratchy material back here. Legroom isn't as plentiful as in other newer vehicles out there like the Cruze, some of the Hyundais. I think the Corolla probably has even have more room in the back. And here's the back of it. See how close that is there. And I noticed something in this particular car. This car has a couple interesting little flaws that a lot of Focus owners experience. Although it's not terrible if you nip it in the bud. The taillights right here in this point, this place right here, you got, you know, right in this area here. Sometimes it's down here. And on the hatchback, you got a fuel filler door that ends up on the other side, but it's cut out and it's more gapping, so you don't have to worry about that. But you have some areas that the paint like flaked off, and I mean, you could see right here, if you zoom in on it, you can see that. I mean, you really got to be looking for this. This actually was touched up. The paint was chipping, and when you touched it, the piece just fell off. Now, on this particular car and on the other ones, if you look right down here, and you probably cannot see it, but in here, right about there, if I can find my finger here, there's a stud. You can see it actually. And that stud, and you can see if you look down in there, the upper part is the stud, and the plastic is closer to the taillight is actually plastic, but it's, you can unscrew it a couple turns and you get more clearance, so that you have more clearance in here. Before it was literally sitting on it. Shame on you, Ford. This car has been out since 2012 and you haven't been able to figure this out. Although I did look at a few other vehicles on Ford's lot over here in Santa Clarita, and believe it or not, I didn't see that on any of the other ones, only this one. I mean, how disappointing. Seriously. We'll pop the trunk here, and then I'll show you the tiny little engine that's as big as a motorcycle engine. Trunk is pretty big. You have halogen lights here and up here as well. There's an LED in the back of this one, but normally it doesn't come that way. Trunk is pretty big. You can see it's got a big opening. Excuse the motorcycles. There's no subwoofer back here, obviously. It's an inexpensive version of the Focus. And let me pop the hood, although doing it one-handed may not be easy. Okay, we got the hood open now. Let's go ahead and show you the engine. And it is very small. And you can see spark plug 1, 2, and 3. There's no fourth one. Down here is probably the turbocharger. Ooh, that's not that hot. Haven't driven it in a little bit. I think that's the O2 sensor right there. And those must be some oil lines, perhaps. Maybe this is the wastegate, blow-off valve. I don't know. It's a little engine. I also heard that some of these motors, I guess Ford was being cutesy, and they said the engine block would fit in a suitcase. But it's actually, from what I read, it's cast iron. It's not aluminum. I think the head is probably aluminum, but the block is cast iron. That usually means it's kind of heavy, because most motors are aluminum. So that's kind of surprising as well. Let's see here. I don't know what that thing is down there. Right there. You got me. It's very small. You can see there's a lot of room down there. There's plenty of room here. You can probably shove a V8 under the hood here, right? No. I think the battery is sitting right there. This must be the airbox, and that's the fuse block there. And you can see the sticker. You got your 1 liter, and it is a gas TDI. I guess TDI is it's direct injected, so makes 123 horsepower, 125 foot-pounds of torque, and essentially it's like 999 cc's or 61 cubic inches. That's a small little engine. I mean, this is like motorcycle size, although this car really does move very good. I'm actually surprised, to tell you the truth. Pretty impressive. Now I guess that EcoBoost appearance package gives you this blackout grille. It's kind of a gloss. And what else? What else does it do? Of course, you have turn signal mirrors. And as I mentioned, it has disc brakes in the rear, which normally they're drums unless you go and opt up for the more expensive Focus. And on this side here is also where the chipping paint was as well. This is where I first discovered it. You can barely see it, but you know, when you step away here, you know, here we go. I mean, most people, you can't, it's not even noticeable. I really wish I could find, because this is pretty thin, the edge is pretty thin, some sort of a rubber, like a U-shaped rubber, very small. You can just go all the way around here and it'll add a layer of protection. In addition to that, hide that. And yes, this car I did actually buy. Now, something about this car, I was looking for a used car and I decided, well, let's find something $6,000 or $8,000. Well, good luck with that, because unfortunately, California, I think used car prices in general are higher than anywhere else in the country. So after searching around, I've come to the conclusion that I'm not going to get what I want, because all I'm going to end up is a piece of crap. Unreliable, beat up, thrashed out, probably 6, 7, 8 years old. Probably something I just wouldn't want to drive. I'm not used to driving junk, and I shouldn't have to. But yeah, most people say, why don't you just drive the truck? I really don't want it as a daily vehicle, but this is better. This has to, unfortunately, this has to sit outside. So after figuring out what I wanted to do, I went to the Ford dealer and I looked at these cars, and as I mentioned earlier, the MSRP is $21,535, and that's including destination and the options of the automatic, the SE EcoBoost appearance package, and the wheels, and that's pretty much all it has. So I actually didn't know this. Well, maybe I forgot about it, but I had a $750 Ford private offer, so that did apply to the purchase. And the Focus for 2017 at this point in time has a rebate of $4,000, and the EcoBoost for the 1-liter 3-cylinder has another $500. So basically, I got $5,250 off in rebates alone. And then I found another dealer that was, and it was an ad car, and they had it on their website. So I contacted them, got the information, and shot it to my local dealer here. He said he would match it, so they knocked up $1,920 more off of that. So this car here essentially was $14,300 and change for this car. I mean, it was a smoking deal. That was after I did the subtraction, it was $7,171 off sticker, essentially 34% off MSRP. And if you add the tax and license in, you're at 76% of MSRP, including tax and license, fees, and everything out the door. When have you ever seen a deal like that? I don't think I've ever bought a car with, even after tax and license, it was nearly 75% or 25% off, including all that. It was just crazy, and it didn't make sense to lease it. So I borrowed $6,000 for 36 months. It's $170 a month. So I figured, I'll just, in the next coming months, I'll just try to knock it down to zero. It's not too hard to do when you only owe $6,000. So the rate was 2.99, which is probably higher than it should be, but when you're borrowing small change like that, it doesn't make a difference at all. I think even if you lower the rate a whole percentage point, it might drop $1 a month off. It's not going to make any difference. So 2.99 is reasonable, but I think I could have got a little bit lower, probably a half a point lower, but that's okay. And then I threw on these carbon fiber plates, the frames that are, and it came with the caps and the little buckets the screws go into. And if you want something like this, go onto Amazon. The one I bought was about $19.95 or $19.99. A smoking deal. A really great product. The frames are nice. I mean, it looks exactly like the ones I bought from, I think the company was called RPI Products or something like that. And I paid $55 a pop for those stupid things. Here I got like 2 of them for less than one of those. And they're, like I said, they're exactly the same. And they do come with the kit excluding the screws. I have tons of these screws from all my old cars. I saved them. They're all the same size because the bolts they use on their cheesy license plate frames are the ones that they look like a hex, you know, like a normal 8-sided, and it has a screwdriver slot, and they're ugly, and they look like they're just like zinc coated. They're ugly. So the only thing I've really done to it is I threw in my old floor mats, and these are really great floor mats. They're rubber, they're really soft, and they were like brand new. I think I had the car 3, 4, or 5 months, and I was trying to sell these things to friends and that had Focuses, and they didn't want them. So good, I'm glad they didn't buy it, because now I can just reuse them. And I have the rear set as well. Those are unused. Nobody's ever sat back in the other car, and this one as well. I think these are WeatherTech. So it comes with a kit. It comes as a kit, front and rear, or you can just get the fronts. I did change out the lighting on the floor to LEDs. Fairly easy to do. You can see it down there. There's one on each side, and then one in the trunk as well. Not very bright, but does the trick. So the fuel mileage isn't bad. I haven't driven enough to really know. I haven't really gone anywhere with it. Couple drives in it. It does have stop-start technology, and unlike the Cruise, if you hate it, you can shut it off. You can defeat it with using this little button right here. However, you know, it does save fuel. If you're stuck in stop-and-go traffic, then I guess it saves you a little gas. Probably not a lot. But it's annoying because when you come to a stop, it shuts off, and your air conditioning kind of starts to lose its coldness, and especially in the heat. Eventually it starts back up again to start everything up again, so what the heck. Anyways, like I said, the only issues I had were those little spots, which I didn't see until I bought the car. I should have looked, because I've had other Focuses and they've done the same thing. Oddly enough, the ones on the lot look perfectly fine. So now they're spaced out good, and if I need to adjust it, they're easy to come off. Plenty of room in there. If I can find some like split molding that's real thin, round, and has a split, I can actually install it on the taillight. It'll stay in place. It won't fall off. But it's a nice little car. The price was beyond right. I don't think I could have done any better. And insurance for me, this added $190 per 6 months. So I'm about $704 for 6 months policy. And I have the coverages that are decent. I've got $500 deductibles, $500,000 in liabilities, and I'm telling you that if you need a good insurance rate, check out Ameriprise. And if you're a Costco member, I think last time I checked, they gave you another 7% off, which I am. And I don't know, I don't know if you have to be a gold member or if you're the next level up. But all in all, great company to deal with. And I haven't made any claims, so hopefully I never do. But this also, I forgot to mention, this does have Sirius radio, and it does have two USB ports. One right by the shifter, and the other one is in the console. So it's got all the technology. It just lacks a touch screen. Can I live without it? Sure. Do I want a touch screen? Hell yes, I do. So I don't know if I want to waste my money and buy a touch screen. You know, when eventually when they develop a product, but. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'd rather just pay the car off first and worry about stupid things like that later. I'm going to go over to the Ford dealer right now. I'm going to pick up my mud guards that they ordered. And when I went in earlier today, he ordered the front mud guards, which are the same across the line, whether you have a sedan or a hatchback. Not the ST or RS, but your run-of-the-mill S, SE, or SEL, or titanium. But the rear is when he ordered them. He ordered them for the hatchback. So I immediately noticed that. I said, hey, this is the wrong one. He says, you know, you're right. So I'll go ahead and take these back, and I'll reorder them. I'll have them in a little later today, which they just got them in. So I'll probably play around with this tomorrow, because I really don't. I think you have to drill on the front. There might, on that lower plastic piece down here, the lower non-painted part. I remember on my other Focus, you had to drill one hole just in that part, and then there are pins that go in, and then you have to tap the little center pin. And if you ever want to get it out, I don't know how the hell you get it out. So, anyways, it's doable, but it's going to take a little work here. So, this again is the 2017 Focus SE EcoBoost 1 liter 3-cylinder turbocharged gas miser, and it actually, if you go around a corner and nail it, it'll scratch the tires. So this is probably the smallest engine in a vehicle I have ever owned. I've never had a 3-cylinder car in my life, nor would I've ever dreamt of buying one. But today's technology is pretty good, and you know what? I could stick anybody in this car. I don't care who you are, and you probably wouldn't even be able to tell this or the 4-cylinder model, except for a slightly more power, which isn't really that much from what I felt, because I test drove both. So it doesn't sound like a 3-cylinder. It's completely smooth, because it does have counterbalance shafts. So I remember 3-cylinder engines back in the 90s, pretty unrefined and pretty weak, probably 50 horsepower, 60 horsepower. Pretty sad. But today's technology allows small engines to produce the horsepower of much larger engines. So you've got 123 horsepower per liter, specific horsepower per liter. So that's pretty impressive. And same thing with the torque, 125. So I'm happy with it. This will be now the daily driver, and it looks like it's going to rain out here. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, please comment. Please like the video and share it. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. Again, have a great day. Car Crazy Guy here from Santa Clarita. And just got back from a bike ride, so I'm going in. I'm going to rest a little bit, and I'm heading over to the Ford dealer before 7 before they close. I can get my mud flaps. Take care, guys.